Jan?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yep.
We're ready.
We're all set to go.
Well, I just wanted to put some of these in. So
Welcome everybody back from our 42-minute lunch break. You make it neat.
well,
I don't know how to do
make
that.
more room. Is that, put them in upside down.
Sure. Some of us learned outward because that means
Yeah.
to look at. These, I think, what was that?
These are probably out this afternoon.
No, they're not yet. They were
They're all
this
for
morning.
this
I
morning.
think those were the in-walled ones, maybe.
Okay, that might be this is in
Oh, okay.
perhaps. Oh, okay,
Okay, who starts first?
we're back. This morning we went from 9 to noon, and now we're gonna go from 1 to 4, and then we'll be back from 6 to 8 tonight. We have a full day. Welcome, please tell us your name and address, and then I have to swear you in.
Okay, I'm Beverly Posey, and the address is 66 Bay Parkway, Lake George, New York.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
I do.
Thank you. Please tell us why you're here and what we can do to help you.
I'm here because of excessive tax assessment.
Peter, excuse me, is that your machine picking that up?
What's that?
Is this loud enough for your machine? Okay, I wasn't sure, 'cause I can't hear it.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Maybe just bring the microphone a little closer to you perhaps. There we are. Tilt it just a little bit.
Yep. How's that? It's not.
That's
Is it on?
working nice
Yep.
enough.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, have you read what I wrote?
No,
They just got it.
Oh,
we just got this information.
I'm sorry, I wrote it hours ago.
No, well, that's
You were busy.
we've been in our meeting till 12, that's the past
Right.
12:15.
So,
What we're gonna do, after we hear you today and ask questions back and forth, we'll have private meeting at nights required by law,
sure.
probably early next week. We'll sit and go through every one of the folders, and we've got the tape in case we have to hear you,
Okay.
okay? So
Right.
we'll give everything
Well-
good consideration,
Shall I read this then?
please.
Okay, so,
Sure.
all right. Okay, I thought Mr. Bigelow would be here, so I addressed it to
He
him.
was here this morning, yeah.
Okay. The following statements pertain to Part 1, Item Number 7, regarding the assessed value listed in Item Number 6. Number 1, waterfront property. The depth of the water at the dock, the boat slip, the seawall, continues to decline. An inboard or outboard motor cannot be started for at least a distance of 20 feet beyond the dock. The bottom is sandy. During late boating season, our 21-foot Key West powerboat sits on the bottom of the lake. It would be hazardous to buoy the boat because we are in a cove where 3 other boats exit their docks. Our dock cannot be extended as it would conflict with the dock angled on the south side. This neighbor took issue with a visitor docking on the south side. He said it was his property. At my request, the Lake George Park Commission came and measured and determined that my visitor was not docked on the neighbor's property. In quotes, Lake George Park Commission regulations state that so many feet out from the shoreline can be considered water use property as an extension of a property line. A prospective buyer would take issue with the situation, which would have to be disclosed, thus driving down the sale price. Although the bottom is sandy, ebb and flow of water due to winds and powerboat wakes brings in a great deal of debris. This April, a dead deer. The depth on March 24th, and there are photographs, there are about 20 photographs of all of this. The water depth on March 24th, 2021 was 7 inches. Based on the watermark of the dock, it is normally 23 inches. I wrote the following to Dave Wick, Executive Director of the Lake George Park Commission, including pictures. And that was on the following day. Dear Dave, over the past several days, I have observed the extremely low water. Measuring from my dock, the depth is 7 inches, where it is normally 23. This is a drop of 16 inches. What is happening? It has never been this low, quite alarming, especially for those of us who have water lines into the lake. What is causing this? There is lots of snow melt compensating for lack of rain. What do you think is going on? And I hope the attached pictures will be helpful. And I signed it. No response. Dredging this area is not an option. Our dock does not have an upper sun deck as shown in the pictures in comps 2 and 3. It is over 75 years old. Next issue, water quality. On Saturday, November 7, 2020, harmful algae blooms, HABs, were identified in Canal Bay, a small cove, part of Harris Bay, within a few feet of Assembly Point Road. This incident was published shortly thereafter by the Lake George Association, the Fund for Lake George, the Post-Star, the Times-Union, the Adirondack Explorer, and the Chronicle, and other news media. 2 residents paddled around Assembly Point Road in their kayaks and saw algae blooms in several locations around the point. The Jefferson Project placed their scientific monitor in Harris Bay on November 11th, 2020, and it remained there until December 10th, 2020. I don't have the results of that. I hadn't investigated that yet. The Jefferson Monitor returned May 13th, 2021, and remains there to today. You have a photo of that as well. And it is within sight. I look out the door and there it is. We and many shoreline residents depend on water from the lake. Due to sulfur and bedrock, many property owners cannot drill wells or do not have enough property to drill wells, ours included. During the last assessment, Mr. Bigelow looked at my survey, you also have a survey, and recommended a place to drill a well. I subsequently called a well driller who came and assessed the situation, informing me that drilling could damage the foundation of the house, and it definitely would damage the seawall. The house foundation has a crack in the basement and has been there for several years. You have a photo of that. We have had a water filtration system for more than 20 years. However, it does not handle HABs. Only a reverse osmosis system can do that. Its cost is in excess of $10,000. Again, a prospective buyer would have to be informed of this, a full disclosure. Many residents of Assembly Point are actively involved in the septic initiative. Simply put, all septic systems that affect water bodies, the lake, must be inspected. Currently, Queensbury requires septic systems to be inspected upon change of ownership, also known as a septic inspection upon transfer law. See the Adirondack Explorer. There's an article in there too, and you have pictures. We have a concern about our neighbor's property to the south. These log cabins were built in 1940. And are summer dwellings only. In the summer of 2020, I saw a sinkhole by my neighbor's back door. The cabin is 10 feet from the property line, and then there's another 20 feet between the property line and our house. I informed the owner, who arrived promptly. It was a cesspool, which he had then drained and cover placed on it. Again, you have some pictures. There are 2 identical log cabins. In the spring, when there are heavy rainfalls, the neighbor's property, as well as ours, is open water from his side of the yard to the seawall along the line of our split rail fence. Is this cesspool leaching into the lake? I will have the water tested. The Times-Union ran an article on May 1st, old septic systems, a threat to the lake. Again, that's included. We have 2 next door. The 2 cabins are owned and occupied by a single family. In other words, they're related. Again, a prospective buyer could see, without being told, that there is an old, questionable waste system next to the house, which is against, I believe, current building code. Item number 3, waterfront footage, 75 foot, valued at $650, $500. The prior town map showed 62 feet. The angled section of 13 feet was determined unusable, so not counted, as told to me by the assessor's office under Helenati when I inquired several years ago. The land size, 75, number 4, the land size listed as 75 by 205. The survey attached, the south side is not 205 feet. Correct footage is 164 plus 32.2, or 197.2. The north side is 164. The septic mound takes up 70% of the backyard, in other words, by the road. I brought this footage to the town's attention before, but they never do anything about it. The revaluation of the land, the acreage is .35, comp 1 is 40.43 acres, lower value at 561,400. However, their water frontage is 9 foot less than on 66 Bay Parkway. The seawall, again, you have pictures. The seawall is original and existed prior to 1953, is in poor condition. Several breaks above water level were patched in 2020. Compare the seawall with the stone wall pictured at 70 Bay Parkway, which is the fourth comp. Central air condition. The house has not got central air condition. Comps 1, 3, and 4 have central air. The garage is detached approximately 30 feet from the house, difficult to get to in the winter. I've been unable to determine if comps have garages and where they are located. Generator. We did install a generator in 2018 because we have frequent power outages. Our heat is propane and a wood stove. Number 10, acreage. Comps 1, 2, and 4 have greater acreage. Am I reading fast enough to get
Doing just fine.
keep on time? Okay. Item 11, condition of the house. Built in 1983, it is in need of repairs and upgrades. All windows need to be replaced. Several are broken, you have pictures, or are no longer effective double pane. It has taken a year to order the awning windows from the original company supplying them 40 years ago. Interior doors are not level, and there's a stairway that isn't level. The kitchen counter is Formica versus granite. The appliances are not new, not stainless steel or modern. The land. Open woodland across Bay Parkway is flooded in the spring and heavy rainfalls. Again, there's a picture. Landscaping. We don't landscape, but we have an Adirondack yard. Whatever grows, we mow. Other issues regarding the property must be considered and disclosed when valuing and selling. The deed. There is a covenant in the deed. These restrictions further limit the use of the property, mainly what cannot be placed within 20 feet of the property line. And the water supply. Lake water only, as stated previously, there is no land where a well can safely and legally be drilled. For years, the southern basin has been in decline. Alga blooms, invasive species, invasive plant life, and now HABs inhabit Harris Bay and our water, thus making it impossible to drink and often undesirable to swim. Invasives also affect boat propellers. So that's the end of what you read. My comments today, Rich, and I have additional comments. It would be presumptuous of me to think that anyone would pay more than $900,000 for a house and property that needs at least $200,000 worth of repairs and upgrades. Who would want to next paragraph. Who would want to expose themselves and families to the pollution which has invaded Lake George, especially the southern basin? And today, just today, I saw the continual cutting of trees close to the waterfront by the contractor approved by Queensbury to build 2 houses on property that it was known as Polk Road, where HABs were in that area, and that's where they were discovered, right where he's going to build those houses. The land has been ravished, and for what? Just money, profit for him, taxes for the town. This land will have a septic system which, without diligent maintenance, will leach into the lake. And there's been hearings on that, and that's been brought to light. But who will tell the buyer? Since the lake flows north, eventual sewage seepage will reach our waterfront. If full disclosure is not applied in the sale of real estate, the buyer can sue the agent. Is that right, Bill?
I think that's correct.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have to say for the moment that I can think of.
How much are your,
I'm sorry.
What's the number you want to be at?
Well, I wrote down 920,000.
920?
Yes. I mean, it's
Yeah,
you know,
it's here.
yeah, right.
Just to let you know that I am only valuing her waterfront at 65%.
Oh, yes, I've lost track of the footage and how you value the linear foot, so maybe you
Right.
can tell me later.
Okay, so yes, but we're only doing the entire land at 65% of value because we're aware of some of these issues. It's very shallow, they have to walk their boat out.
Right.
And as far as the house goes, I didn't know, we had it in average condition for a 1983 house. It may be in less than average condition.
You'll see the pictures.
Right, but I didn't have that information.
Is the lake, she mentioned that the lakefront frontage and discrepancy of 13
Yeah,
feet?
Helenati measured it
You-
differently because of that angle.
Well, that's some of the reason we've
And
got it
that-
at
you've changed
65%.
Yeah.
It's kind of in a dip. If you see the map, Steve has the map, it's
Yeah, I
kind of in a
have the
dip.
survey.
Okay.
map and the-
So that's
You
one of
think
the
you're already
reasons why-
taking that into
Yeah.
account? Okay. So we are listening to you apparently on that issue.
Bill might want to see that.
Thank you.
You've done your homework.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
And we haven't had a chance to look through all the pictures, but
Yes.
we will,
Yes,
because you have a lot of them here. That's good.
yes. My grandson enlightened me on how to get my pictures out of the cloud.
It's a good thing we have
Town
grandchildren.
water supply
None.
during the season, you don't have?
No, I go down to Saratoga and fill some jugs for our drinking water.
Interesting, okay. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
We will get educated
Okay.
and we'll talk about it and we'll see what we can do.
So you come in the summer.
Oh, no, I'm year-round.
You live here year-round.
I do. And before we got the generator, I spent 4 days in one winter with just the wood stove.
I remember that winter.
Yeah, I did that 4 or 5 years ago. The
Wow.
firemen were going around to each house, but they missed mine.
Well, I hope you have lots of wood.
Yes.
Wow.
So the board will meet and it'll be a couple weeks and you'll get something,
Okay.
okay?
All right. And then if you will explain to me, if you have time now, just,
Go home and enjoy the summer sunshine.
I can't. The sun is my enemy.
Oh, no.
I have to stay out of it.
Oh, yes. Well, don't forget something that's on the floor.
Yes.
There you are.
By the way, I also took some pictures of where they're taking down every tree.
You have to give the grievance point him, just make sure you got
The
something
town
on the
has
bottom right
approved
there.
that already?
No, on the front,
Doubt it.
make sure, yep, you've got something there.
There would be,
They
is it-
approved his building of houses.
Here,
But I
That
don't
would-
know about
that
the
would
trees.
have, then you would have available to look at what is known as a site plan. And then go through site plan review, and that will show any cutting that they're supposed to do or not do.
Yeah, because it backs up right against the next person's garage.
Oh,
Where
There are
they
people
took,
out there that
you know, the church.
I know.
will figure it's better to ask for
Yeah,
forgiveness.
later, sorry, yeah.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
I'll call you about the.
Okay. Absolutely, you can just call my office,
Example,
yep.
Somebody in New York City built a 23-story addition, didn't have permission to do it, the court made it tear it down, 23 stories. So,
Okay, this is current case.
thank you.
That goes with that, Marcel.
Okay, this goes with the one we're gonna see.
This is his form. It's 33 Alicia Drive, you know, it's over by West Mountain.
Where near West Mountain?
Where there's a new kind of newer development, Alicia and what's
It's
the other road?
off of Corinth Road, sir, across from
Right.
the water department.
Kind of across,
It's
kind of,
surrounded.
yes,
It's
surrounded.
surrounds
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, okay.
Yeah.
This
I know
is,
this is beautiful.
he just purchased this in August.
This is
Good
Kerr
morning.
and Casey.
Current
Yep.
Casey. That's a nice part of the town to live in.
Yes, it is.
I've lived there for many, 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 many years.
Oh, unless,
Okay, I'm gonna find your name on the list.
Wow.
Too much paper in our paperless society.
17 wants 417.
This is this folder.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his assessment.
That is his assessment? 17,700.
Okay. Okay, you tell us your name and address, please, and then I have to swear you in.
Kerr and Casey, 33 Alicia Drive, Queensbury, New York.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
I do.
Thank you. Please tell us what you want to tell us.
I'm one of the last people to purchase a colonial-style house through the Cerrone project between Alessia Drive and a Prairie Circle. The roads, I guess, were going to be connected at one point, but I was turned down. So when I purchased this home, building supplies went up, and I believe that the price of my house is overly inflated compared to comps in the area for size and quality of the house. So I'd like to have my assessed value lowered to show comparable to the other houses in the Cerrone development.
Have you done your research?
Yes, I've
The list of the...
got a spreadsheet here I can
Okay,
give to you.
please turn it in when you're done.
Sure.
Any particular component of that you want to talk about? Are the numbers right, the square footages are right?
Yes.
The acreage, how many land?
See, my lot size is 15.86.
Okay.
However, when Cerrone started to put this development in, they considered almost 13 acres woodland. So only about 2 acres were considered buildable. However, out of that 2 acres, the way that the property is with the mountain going up, I really only have about a little over an acre of land that's buildable where I could actually put any type of structure on. So
Yeah.
I've got a very large lot size, and I've got very small lot. My previous residence had more of a lot on Luzerne Road, and it was 0.9 acres. I had more square footage.
Was that done under a conservation subdivision, do you know, when they built it?
I believe so. There's a no cut line.
Right.
I think they did
I-
a cluster development.
Right, I only have his building area is 0.92 of an acre, 200 by 200. We have some little extra land, residual land, that's 2 acres. But then we have woodland that I actually have 50, it's 12.94 acres of woodland, and we're doing that at 50% of value. Okay, so it's usually $1,000 an acre, and we're taking 50% off that for the woodland. He did, last year at this time, or for March 1st of 2020, the house was only 30% complete, so we had a partial assessment on it last year. This year, obviously, it was totally complete, so we put the full assessment on. He did purchase in August of 20 for $526, which is really, I mean, I know that building prices have absolutely positively gone up. I don't know if at that time they were what they are now. That was just the beginning of the time where we were seeing those crazy sales start. You know, because when everything shut down, we didn't have anything for a while. Nobody was buying anything. And then all of a sudden, towards the end of the summer, things started going up. You'll see the appraisal that I did. Did you get an appraisal from the bank, sir? When you purchased?
I'm sure, I don't know.
You don't remember what it came in at? Okay. He's at 517.7, and he paid 526.
And when did he pay for that?
August.
August of 20.
It's a great place to live. Want to be fair to everybody. We'll compare what's reflected in your value with others, with your comps. Look at that sheet carefully, make sure everything looks right. But you will enjoy living there. You have town water probably.
Yes,
Okay. We don't make any decisions now.
Sure.
We take all this information privately. We sit like a bunch of judges. Nobody else can be in the room. Terry can't be in the room. And we'll come up with what we think is fair.
sure.
Any questions that you have? Here's pretty straightforward compared to some of the ones we've heard.
It is, in the area there, there's some very large lots that are 3 times the size of my lot, and they're like, their value of their land is $8,000 more for 45 acres. And then there's other lots that are half my size, however, they've got 7 to 8 acres of completely usable land. If you look at my lot, we had to do extensive site work with blasting rock. Out of that .98 acres, I would say a third of that is a straight up hill where it's unusable. And the property around that is low-level area where it collects water. So I really don't think that the numbers,
Well, Terry's saying what you had a value of only $500 an acre on that, right?
On that woodland, yes.
That seems pretty fair for that particular concern. You know, you can't use, I lived on the top of that mountain.
Yep.
44 acres. Only spot we could use was a part that we flattened out for the house,
sure.
but it's beautiful land.
I mean, if you look at this, the square foot breakdown, if you take all my comps here, the average for all these comps is about $174 a square foot. I'm up to $215 a square foot, significantly higher per the price of square foot. I'm just comparing apples to apples with the square foot and with how the land is assessed with the acreage. So I have all my comps here, and I believe I can get down to 417,000 with these comps.
And 417 is the number you're looking for.
Yes,
But you just paid 520.
I understand, but
We have to put market value on the property.
I understand that. We paid more than we would like to just because of the timing. If I were to sell that today, no one is going to pay for what we did. We paid for extra stuff that we wanted done. We didn't shop around. We were kind of caught between the way that the building was going. We couldn't use any of our own subcontractors to do additional projects we wanted. To do extra site work, we had to pay higher dollar amount than was the value because of driveways going in and timeframes. We couldn't shop around for additional stuff we wanted, so we were at the mercy of the builder to pay higher prices for the huge patio, for excess landscaping. We paid more than someone we'd get for it personally, just because we're stuck.
Question is, what will it go for? You can't say right now because now it's still where it is, but eventually when you sell it, you should get your money back. Perhaps. I don't know all the things that went into yours.
Have there been any other sales? Do you have on your list, other sales?
No, they're all new builds. When you look at these comps and you see the quality of the house versus what we have, they're paying much less and they have got much more into the house than we have.
So you're looking at 25 Alessi and 42 Alessi, which is right on your street. This comp, I'm just looking at that.
25 Alessia sold in March of 19 for 398. It's less square footage than.
And it's much smaller.
If you look at a Prairie Circle, that road should have connected to my road. a Prairie Circle and Alessia Drive, but they could not blast. Do you know a Prairie Circle? It's the last road on West Mountain. That road, I'm using comps from there as well. It's the same
Okay.
builder. Same builder. If you look at 25 of Prairie Circle, they've got 47 acres of land, and their total value is $480,000 for their house. Their house has much nicer upgrades, much nicer lot, everything. If you look at the builders, 20 of Prairie Circle and 21 of Prairie Circle as well, much more usable land, much nicer features, and their houses are much more significantly less than the value
So
of mine.
that's not connected to, is there to Alessi, so there's another entrance?
No, they're both cul-de-sacs,
Right.
Same builder.
same
Kind of-
builder.
Sun builder,
Oh,
same
it's two
area.
cul-de-sacs,
Yeah.
two different.
Two cul-de-sacs, and they're supposed to meet together
But it's the
originally.
same access road from West Mountain?
No, a Prairie Circle is off West Mountain Road, and my road, Alessia drives off Corinth Road.
Oh, okay.
So they were supposed to be like a big horseshoe that connected between
I see.
Corinth Road and West Mountain Road.
They couldn't
Okay,
get blessed.
Corinth,
I don't know, the town wouldn't give them permits from what I understood.
okay.
Strange.
That was their ideal, I guess, when they were building that development. The Sarones stated that they wanted to originally, yes, they wanted to blast through there, and I don't know if it was because of the reservoir that came down from the mountain back there or not, but they would, that's just what I'm hearing.
Interesting. Any more questions?
No.
Thank you, we'll get back to you. It'll probably be 2 or 3 weeks before we.
Yeah,
get final-
the notices usually come out in like 2 weeks or so. Okay? Yeah, you want to give that to them.
Thank you, counts to be important.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Robert McCarty. Bob, how are you?
Mr. Cardy, do you have your grievance forms?
I'm sorry, I don't hear too well.
Okay.
I turned it up one night.
Do you have your grievance forms? You know,
Oh,
what you
the
would have
main
filled
form?
out? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just want to make sure you have them.
Okay. This one?
Yes, that's exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
So I wanna-
I just had it hooked because I had it on.
Yeah, for your stuff you're going to talk about?
My
I'll give them
speech.
this. Right. Nope, your speech, that's okay.
I would have made 5 copies for you. I didn't.
No, that's okay, no
How to do
problem.
this.
We'll share.
Huh?
We'll share.
This is 18.
What'd you say? You will share?
We will
Jay
share.
Road
Oh, you share?
Yes.
on
I only got one though.
Glen Lake. Yeah.
Do you want to just read it? And then
And
I
it's
won't
two
bother
sites.
talking all that?
Wait
So
for
it's
the chairman.
House
Oh,
and it's a camp. Both on the same property. So there's two,
Okay,
okay?
if I try saying it, I'll probably mess it up anyway.
and the camp on the same time.
Yeah, I know.
So we did the house appraisal with the lake, and then the camp appraisal is just kind of some extra.
Here, Steve.
And here's your folder. Okay.
The house appraisal, you talking about mine just now?
Yeah,
Oh, and what did you say? I'm sorry.
I said that we did a house appraisal with your lakefront, but then your camp is just a little, it's only $79,000 we have for your camp.
For the one bedroom?
Right.
Me?
Right.
You put 79 on that?
It's, but they're added together for your assessment.
Okay. Think I should try to read this? or-
House
Well,
of-
hang on a second, I've got to say hello. Ask you to state your name and address for the microphone, for the record.
Okay. Is it my address or the address of the,
Your name and your address.
where I live?
Yeah, just where you live.
Robert Accardi, 9 Hoyt Avenue, Glens Falls, New York.
Perfect. Now I'm going to swear you in. Do you solemnly swear that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability?
Yes,
Yes, okay.
which is not very
In the
good.
interest of full disclosure, Bob and I go back for years.
Oh,
Your
really?
brother Peter, right?
Yep.
We were on the same Little League baseball team. And that goes
Oh,
back
wow.
a couple years ago.
At least 70-some years ago. Anyway, a long time ago. And I haven't seen him since. You look the same, you look great.
And he went up about 14%. He went from 390,500 to 444.
Was there a special reason for increasing?
Like we did everybody, we looked at the,
Right.
we didn't have that he did anything to the property.
Nothing special?
No building permits, no, nothing like that. He has 96 feet of waterfront, and that's at 75% because it's topography, there's wetness there, it's restricted. So we're only doing
Waterfront alone was how much value?
313,
313 just in the waterfront?
Yes.
So that's a land value. then.
right.
Land value is 313. but
79
Lakes
for
are
the
going
camera.
up.
So you'll see the appraisals there. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's the percentage that you dropped it? Because-
it's at 75% of value.
75%, thank you.
As is the neighbors, correct?
Right.
I didn't want them to think that it was just me. I know you like me.
I know. See, there are some nice people.
There are, yeah,
Okay.
we're doing some thinking here.
How much are you looking to have it reduced to?
It should be on one.
370,000,
370 shows you.
and it's at 444 right now.
Okay. So you're looking for a value of a 50-something for the buildings,
For both buildings.
total for the buildings?
Yep. I think I can explain.
Go ahead.
Well, no, that's, the 14%, Terry, is more than anybody near me in that increase in value. But the main thing I'd like to talk about is the value of the houses themselves and why they increase so much. The value of the land didn't increase much at all, 6,100 or something.
Right.
I should probably read this to be better.
Go ahead. Go.
But the value of the properties, I mean, the houses themselves without the land, so what the house is really worth, there's really two houses, but they're just camps, cottages we call them, went up 57%. So compared to my neighbors, one went up like 4%, but the others went down 10%, 10%, 20% on the value, not the land, I'm not complaining about the land, the value of the buildings themselves. And so that's the only main reason I'm here, because I did a few emails with Mark Collier, and he tried to help me, and but I just can't understand how our buildings could go up 57% market value when others' market value right next to me are minus 20%, minus 10%, minus 10%, plus 4%.
Terry's checking that right now. If she's hearing it from you. Let's see what she said.
That's the main thing, and then I can read this.
Well, just, you guys know, we don't put a land value and then look at the building value and add them together. We have to look at the total property. We do have to put a land value on it, but we're looking at the total value of the property. So I'm trying to find Mr. Carty right here, and you were at
Market value.
8.
But are you saying that you established the total
I established
value
the
before
total.
you established the land and the?
No, I have a land value that I established first, but then I look at the total value. On either side of you, let's see, this is 16 J Road East. Their assessment went up 9%, went from 446 to 485.2. They have 64 feet of waterfront, and they're only at 90%. He's at 75% of value. And then on the other side of them, oh, no, that's not gonna be good. On the other side of them, is Carolyn Kellogg on the other side of you? Is Kellogg on the other side of you? Is that who you want to be compared to?
No, there's a Linda Seacard on one side, there's
I have a Matt C
Gordon's
card.
on one side.
I have a Matt C card on one side, but they don't have any waterfront.
No, the waterfront was beyond George Street for L C card, Linda C card.
Okay.
But I also, my other neighbor, the main neighbors I was looking at, oh, that's true. She is my neighbor on the left facing the lake.
Right.
But I looked down East J Road East at three other properties.
Okay, what were they? Do you know, remember?
The increase was, I think, around 10 or 9%. But
For the Gordon family.
The main thing I was looking at is the value of the houses. That's what I
Okay.
was really looking at, mainly. But
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and read your letter. My set of glasses.
If I used these in Little League, I would have done a lot better. To Board of Assessment Review, thank you for having me here today. We really can't compare our property to recent sales too well because it is a lot different, meaning I'm supposed to do comparables. We will try to show that today in our report and discussion. We meaning, this is a Cardi irrevocable trust, so that's we. In my emails with Mark Collier, he said the valuation process is based on property class, but on the assessor's website, the file on your website for assessment residential sales, which you're supposed to find the comparisons, it doesn't really distinguish property class. So it's difficult because our property is two houses, so it's difficult to compare. And Mark said then you go to a cost basis, which I think I know what it means, but I'm not positive. We did some comparisons by taking the properties from residential sales file, the one that you have online, and we used two-bedroom properties to compare to because there were no one-bedrooms, and to explain how we go here today. The three-bedroom down by the lake, by the way, is very small, 690 square feet.
605.
And a couple of the bedrooms, the only way you get them in there is they're like 8 by 8. In the kitchen and the bathroom, and the kitchen and the dining are down in the basement, really. So that's just a seasonal property. So anyway, I tried to do some comparisons of cottages that sold on Glen Lake. And they are on Glen Lake, and they were in the list there. So I put those in, and I put down C attachment number 2. Attachment number 1, I missed telling you, was the list of property sales, residential sales on Glen Lake. I printed it out so you could see it. It's out of your file.
Right.
They could get the file
Yep.
off the internet. So from observing the activity on Glen Lake for property sales, any old seasonal camps like ours, when purchased, are usually a tear down or almost a tear down to maybe an add-on to avoid some building codes. So that's what we've been observing, as most people do. Most of them tear them down. Matter of fact, I had a friend that tore down his own place and then put up brand new one, because they're going to year-round places, is what they're trying to do, for families, mostly. So we count that as a tear down if I was trying to sell it. I think the guys that are trying to buy it are going to try to negotiate. We got to tear this thing down. It's going to cost us money.
Exactly right.
So our three-bedroom is small, kitchen, dining, and the cellar, no drinking water, draw from the lake, same as it was in 1956. Most buyers want a year-round for a family, so it would be expensive if you compare ours on a cost basis to comparable recently sold houses. Actually, the three-bedroom camp should count as a negative against market value, since it would be a tear down and the buyer has to pay to tear it down. We know someone on Glen Lake that had to tear down their houses. They were trying to sell because they couldn't sell them, and now they're just trying to sell the property.
Vacant lot.
Nearby neighbor. The one-bedroom year-round cottage should add some value, but only be compared to a typical one-bedroom residence for the value of the house itself, not including the land, just comparing a one-bedroom residence. We've done some comparable sales showing the value of one-bedroom cottages that have sold in Queensbury, and see attachment number 3. So we have in here some attachments that show you that. I couldn't find a one-bedroom on One Lake.
No, it's tough.
Also, next door to our one-bedroom cottage is a two-bedroom cabin assessed for $82,400 for the house alone, not including the land. And they don't have waterfront, but just the house itself is assessed for $82,400. It has log siding and a screened-in porch. Our one-bedroom has board and batten siding and is listed as economy construction grade in your listing. If you consider that our one-bedroom, on a cost basis of adding a second bedroom, log siding and screened-in porch, would be about $30,000 at least, would cost about $30,000, then the assessment value should be about $50,000 because the other one is $80,000. So I realize that you're going to have different numbers, but at least take that into consideration. I think that's what cost basis means, doesn't it? You compare it to what it would.
What it costs to build, yep.
Also, consider, as explained above, the seasonal camp would be a tear down. You know the buyers are going to negotiate that. We talked about that. So this should affect the market value. The property description for 1820 J Road East, our property, shows the increase of assessment for 2021. See attachment number 4. So I printed that out so you could see that. Our cottage and camp combined assessments is increased from $83,100. How long have you been assessor?
Since 2007.
7, wow, okay. So I think you were maybe involved in that. The $83,100 to $130,500 for the buildings now without the land. So for 2021, the increase is from $83,000 to $130,000. This increase of $47,400, which is a 57% increase, it seems to me a mistake that the value would increase 57% for cottage and camp with no improvements. Matter of fact, both need more maintenance work than 3 years ago. Other houses' value near us increased for the house alone, 4%, minus 10%, minus 21%, minus 10%. That's down J Road East. I think I might have done Linda's, but anyway, if you just look at some of those, you will see. Hopefully, you will consider and lower our assessment. Of course, we think it should be closer to $370,000 total. Whatever you decide, we do appreciate the time you are taking to consider this. Sincerely, Accardi Irrevocable Trust, Carolyn Accardi, she always puts her name first, and Robert Accardi.
Happy wife, happy life, yes. Thank you, good job.
Okay, thank you.
Good job. Well,
I had those both, even though I had one in economy, they were both built in one was built in 1956, one was built in 1980, but I had them in average condition, and it sounds like maybe they're not in average condition. He's right about they were probably paid to tear it down, the camp.
So
Yeah.
we can count the one bedroom, because they probably keep that, but they want to build a beautiful house right on the lake.
With no central heat, right.
thank you for coming in.
Okay,
We'll look at this and we'll get back to you soon as possible. Good to see you.
thank you very much. Nice seeing you all.
Don't forget to leave all your stuff with them, yeah.
What do I do with that?
Give that right to Mr. Borges right there.
You can
Oh,
still call.
I'm sorry.
First name, it's all right.
I can do it.
Thank you, sir. Take care of yourself.
Thanks again.
Thank you, Mr. McCarty.
Nice thing about being grown up around here, you see people.
Oh, yes.
It's,
Oh, I didn't grow up around here.
Now we actually do have a little break until 2 o'clock.
we have a break,
until the 2 o'clock person gets here. Sure.
Here's what you want.
So we're off the clock, right?
Yep.
Off the clock.
Off the video.
This is the phone, the actual phone, I gave you some.
You can go ahead. I'm gonna go.
We're going to a
285.
telephone call next.
22 Kettles Way, 285.
What was-
Chapman Court, 295. I'd say fair.
Make them, oh, make them on.
Hi, this is Bob. Leave a message.
That doesn't look like the right number.
Didn't sound like Darlene.
No, but didn't
No,
say
and the
Tom,
husband, and the
that's
husband's Scott, so let me double check and see if I've got a different number.
This is
You never know.
The boyfriend's name is Don.
7.
I think that's the husband's name on the thing.
Oh, really?
No, that's not the,
Look how
that's
many
not the right
appraisal.
number, okay?
Scott?
Oh, it's Scott.
Scott
All right,
and
and this guy
Darlene.
said Don?
I think so. And maybe Don says it.
Where's Kettles Way?
Brother,
Hudson Point.
Hudson Point.
Oh, Hudson Point, okay.
Southwest.
Might have been the pool board.
We don't get
Yeah.
very many complaints from them. They want.
Okay, one. I got a different number.
Hello.
Hi, Darlene.
Yes.
Hi, this is Terry Ross. I'm the assessor from the town of Queensbury.
Hi, Terry.
Hi, we have a phone appointment. I've got the Board of Assessment Review here. The chairman, Scott Borges. We have Bill Mason, we have Sue Monahan, we have Joan Jenkin, and we have Scott Sorger. Our chairman, Borges, will swear you in.
Hello? Can you
Hello.
hear me? John, be sure you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
Do you solemnly swear that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Thank you. Please state your name and your home address just for the record, please.
Darlene McMahon, 76 Kettles Way, Queensbury.
Thank you. Now, we have just received some basic information, but nobody's had a chance to study it yet. If you just tell us what your concerns are and how we can help you.
Well, there's a fair amount of damage to the house, so I don't know if that's taken into consideration when you're raising the assessment. But I mean, I can provide photos. But
Was the
I can also
damage there
list
last July
that.
1st?
March 1st.
I'm sorry?
Was the damage there March 1st?
March.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, go ahead, please tell us.
Well, I've got a damaged garage door that's got some holes in it. I've got a broken deck in the back that has to be repaired. The wood is broken from a storm. And inside the house, unfortunately, I have some water stains from a leak in the kitchen. So there's water stains in the kitchen ceiling. And there's a broken sheetrock that needs to be replaced in the basement, which is finished, but there's like a 4x4 break in the wall.
Anything
And
else?
inside the house, when I actually bought this house, the floors are not finished. They're not, the wood isn't matching. So part of the house is hardwood floors and part of the house is, the laminated flooring, the laminated wood. So there's not, so if you were buying it, it would have to be updated. So those are the main issues with the house.
How long have you owned this property?
About 6 years.
Thank you.
They bought it in 2012 for $238 in 2012.
Oh,
What price, what value do you think is the current fair market value of your property?
kind of, I don't know, I don't have the numbers in front of me.
She put down 260.
You would like to see, based on what you've said to us, you would like to see the assessment reduced to $260,100, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you're currently at
276.
276,600. So you're 16,500. Okay, anyone have any questions?
Are those the only issues you have with the house?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say so, yeah.
Okay, have there been any sales in your area that you could compare to?
I'm sorry, I had trouble hearing him.
Could you, were there any other sales of homes in the area that you could compare to?
Well, I think our next door neighbor sold at 300, but their whole inside has been updated. So they have all hardwood floors and, obviously no problems like I've got, so.
So that,
I don't know if you consider it too, but as far as the assessment, I don't know if you assess the value of the house in relation to the property around it, but also, unfortunately, we had a hurricane come right through here, so we've got downed trees all surrounding my house it's off my property, but I think it's going to affect the value of the property. It's a huge clearing of trees is down, probably 100 yards from the house.
Was that the tornado that hit up at Hartman Hill, came down through?
Yeah. Literally, well, actually, probably 50 yards, just missed the house.
I'm glad it missed.
But I think it's on state land right now, so nobody's cleaning it up, so I don't know how that works, but.
Any further questions or comments? Okay, we thank you for taking time to fill out the forms and for talking with us today. We'll be meeting sometime next week, and we'll go over all these complaints that we've had and try to get it resolved. Get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You should get something in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right, have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Some of these are fast and some of these are not so fast.
Mainly the
Were there any
strong
comps?
Do we have any comps at all? Did she say?
I gave,
Yeah.
I just
They're-
passed it
they're
along.
back
Oh,
there.
okay.
They should be in the.
they're all from Hudson Point.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
We're on the air or off the air at the moment. Peter, are we on or off?
Are we on?
You want to be on?
Do you, each of you, do you solemnly swear that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I heard 3 yeses. Okay, please tell us what you're concerned about, and we'll work closely with Terry to look at each individual item.
Our main issue, our only issue, is the valuation of the 150 to 53 mobile homes within the property itself. Right now, Terry and I, we've worked closer to each other on evaluation, and any of the homes that are 1979 or older, I think we have an agreed upon value. When you get newer than that, we separate quite distinctly in our evaluations.
What are the ages of
We're
the,
roughly $1.4 million apart.
what are the ages of the newer homes?
Well, 78% of the homes in the property are 20 years plus in age.
Are there any
And
particular?
what we plan on doing is showing you through substantial evidence that the valuation that's currently on it is capricious and arbitrary. And I'd like to go through some examples, one at a time, just to show you how we value mobile homes. We have a database. We are the largest mobile home retailer in the state of New York. And we own 60 plus mobile home parks. I've been doing this for 45 plus years, so I know the business inside and out. And it's very difficult, if not impossible, for somebody who doesn't do this for a living to really understand the values of these mobile homes. The way that we value them, we have over 550 comparable sales within this specific property and over 10,000 documented sales within the state of New York on used mobile home sales. We have the largest database of anybody in the state of New York that I'm aware of. And so I'd like to start with just an example on such as site number 18, and I think we copied you on a picture of the home. It's 1989, that's the year of the home, and the current assessed value is $20,800. We value that home at $2,500. And how do we get to that valuation? Well, the home originally sold in 2010. It was brought in by Maurice Combs. He's an area truck driver who moves mobile homes for a living. And he sold it to a tenant of ours for $3,900. We have a copy of those sales. In 2014, that gentleman sold, and we have the names, the serial numbers, the sizes of all these homes, complete backup documentation of sales, bill of sale. Not only bill of sales, but a lot of these were financed mobile homes. In the examples of our documentation, they were bank financed, or their closings that took place in an attorney's office. Some of them are mobile home sales centers that have sold the mobile homes, and some are tenant-to-tenant sales. So going back to example lot number 18, the home sold for $12,000 in 2006. In 2019, the home was abandoned by a Mr. Madison who originally purchased it. He abandoned the home. He stiffed us for $5,949. We took the home in lieu of the back rent, and 2 months later sold it for $1,000.
Are you talking about 18?
18, yes.
I have that being owned by a Patrick McKenzie. A 1997.
Right, that was the latest sale.
Okay.
For $1,000. Another one that just came to light just this morning in our review of everything was lot number. Let's go to lot 115. This is a 1987 In 2011, it sold for $8,900. It sold again in 2011 for $11,900. At that point, that tenant abandoned the home and left it for us to either dispose of or resell. We resold that for $1,000 in the year 2015, and it's currently assessed at $16,700. It's a metal-on-metal home, and the $1,000 accurately reflects the value of that home. Now, these are just a few examples I'll give you, but we have a database to back up these. This is an ongoing scenario that happens over and over and over again.
Were any of those pictures, I printed out all those pictures, Jeff. Were any of, did you have addresses on any of them?
Didn't see any.
Some of them had to, on
They didn't
the
see-
building, I saw a couple.
Did you see addresses on any of those pictures?
It should be, right, Stephanie?
No, it was the whole stack of pictures I just gave you.
It was over here before. Oh, this is it. I think we have it here.
Are there lot numbers on there so you guys can look at these? Are any of the, are the ones that you sent, the
I
ones?
can send there's multiple pictures. I can send more. I just didn't want to unload like.
No, I'm just saying, if you're talking
I've got
about a
one with
particular
I've
one,
got one with a 5 or a 6 on it. Is it a 5 or a 6?
if you were talking about like, if you were, we're talking about 115 now, if you sent a picture of
Here's
115, they could have seen it.
I've got 116 is
It
here.
is.
And there's 5.
5, 116.
The actual, yeah, the thing on label.
You see the numbers on any of those?
116 and 5.
116.
5 and 116.
116.
But we were talking about 115.
No, we don't have that one.
Okay,
What's
All
another?
right, well, let's go to 116. Here's
let's 116, okay, let them look at 116, okay.
We have a 40 also.
No, 116,
116 we're going to talk about for a minute.
Okay,
and you got the picture there.
we got the picture.
Yep.
There you go, 116.
They're all together.
There should be one for lot 15, it was set with 16.
It's lot 115, yeah, it's right with lot 116, so.
115 and
It's not a lot
16.
title, it's brown, it's lot numbers on it, it's hard to see because
Maybe it says 5 instead of 115?
Yeah, that's probably the one, then, right? You said 5?
But we got 116 now, so you might as well talk about that one.
Okay, all right, so take a look at 116, doesn't look like too bad a home. The assessed value currently is $13,100. I had it valued at $7,400, and it just came to light to me that the home is abandoned and it's scheduled for demolition. It has no value. It's on its way out.
May I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
My question is, we know that the land value is separate from the buildings.
Right. We're just,
Where is the value charged for the septic system, the water supply connections, your electric connection? Is that in the land value, or does that get assigned to each building?
that is in the land value, that's correct.
Thank
And the
you.
difference is in these homes, when you look at a single wide like that, sometimes they'll have vinyl siding on the outside.
Right?
Vinyl siding doesn't deteriorate. That home may look halfway livable. When you get to the inside, when those homes are 15 plus years, a lot of people are in there with cats and numerous kids, and they'll leave the windows open. They'll have leaks in their washer and dryer or kitchen sinks. These things deteriorate in many cases if they're not kept up to the nth degree. In the last 10 years, we've disposed or demolished 57 mobile homes within that property. And almost the average age of those homes was 28 years old. And a lot of those homes we had to leave abandoned for 2-3 years until we had the capital to dispose of them, because the expenses, $3,000 to $8,000 a piece, depending on the situation. We have to get in many cases, we have to get not only a permit to demolish it, but we have to get a clean asbestos report.
And it costs more to fix them than they're ever worth, that's why they're being demolished.
All right, the repairs on these things on a home in poor condition, a 15, 20-year home, we almost never rehab those because the cost is prohibitive. It's in the $20,000 to $25,000 range, and we can buy a new mobile home for $28,000 to $32,000. Now, we can go on with some more examples, but I want to give a little background in the mobile home industry. In the last 10 years, the amount of mobile home dealers, they call them street dealers, individuals that sell mobile homes and don't own mobile home parks, has dropped by 90%. And what's happened is the only people, in effect, that really sell mobile homes, I'm not talking about modulars, I'm talking about mobiles, are people that own mobile home parks. And it's the only reason they're in the business is to keep the sites occupied. So if somebody walks up to me on the street and says, I want to buy a new mobile home from you at cost and put it in your park, I'm going to jump right on that. Because now that's the only method that I have to fill a site. Because attrition is killing these properties. Because once they hit the 20-year age, 25-year age, they have little to no value. They abandon them, and then we have to just demolish them.
But am I right in saying that you charge the same rent for a 1965 mobile home as you would for a 2020 mobile home? Same lot rent, correct?
That's why the lot rent is the same.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I was just letting the board know that.
That's in the valuation of the property itself.
Correct.
Not the home.
Not the home.
The property, yeah.
Do they have the same,
It's a 1988.
Wait, there's, one of the board members has a question. Hold on one second.
do they have the same rules for condemning the properties as a freestanding home would?
The question, two questions. You asked how long we have, and we have until 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay, and one of the board members asked if they have the same what?
Same rules for like, if the
Same like
property is going to be condemned.
condemning rules as you would for a single-family home.
I would say yes. I mean, if the public authority condemns it.
So if these ones you say are scheduled to be demolished and stuff, if they've been condemned, do you have paperwork on that shows that?
Well, I have the invoices and the documentation to show that we spent the money through a subcontractor to tear the homes down.
Yeah. The
But I
building
think-
inspector rarely condemns them. They're just left there vacant until we dispose of them.
Right. Once the tenant realizes that the home is unlivable, they stop paying their rent. In fact, it's probably a good time to tell you that we have receivables in that property right now in excess of $220,000. Some of that attributable to COVID. But what they'll do is abandon that home, get this for the last few months' rent, abandon it, and then we have to go through the headache of trying to get title of that home or at least a bill of sale so that we have the right to demolish it. Rarely will these people show up. You can't get a hold of them. They disappear into the night. And so we have to sit on the home for 6 months or a year, and that's why I mentioned that some of these homes, even though they're 25, 28 years old, at the time of demolition, they may have been there longer.
Longer time, yeah.
Now, you,
And
Terry,
then we hire an outside contractor. Sometimes we'll demolish them on site ourselves, depending on our work schedule.
The building inspector doesn't come to
Yeah,
condemn them.
not very rarely.
Okay, there's another question. Hold on one second. I'm sorry,
this is
Scott.
for you, Terry.
For me?
Yeah, if they have documentation that house is not necessarily condemned, but
Not
condemned by
livable.
them,
Not livable.
not livable, and they're going to tear it down, that would affect the...
Yeah, I mean, when we were out there, when my data collector was just out there a couple of weeks ago, she found one or two that she said didn't look like anybody was living in and didn't look like anybody could live in it, and we made those values zero.
Right. So if we had documentation for some of these other buildings that they were scheduled to be torn down, that they're waiting
If nobody was
for-
living in them and
nobody
scheduled to
living
be
there and they're
torn
having them
down.
torn down, we can make adjustments. to that.
Correct.
But my point is that over 75% of them fall in that year age group, where they're within a heartbeat of being scheduled for tear down or being abandoned. We're not scheduling them, we don't until they stop paying rent and they abandon them. But that's the age group that happens in. So we've got an uphill battle in front of us over the next 10 years because that park is less desirable as a result of these older homes in there that are going to have to be torn down at some point in the near future. And as opposed to, say, the property next door that has a lot of double wides and a lot of newer homes that are going to be good to pay rent for the next 20 years.
One of the questions is, how much is the lot rent?
I believe the lot, I think it's 500, a little over 500.
Okay? And it doesn't matter where you are in the park?
No.
It's 500 a month wherever.
Wherever, correct. He said
We
wherever.
go to lot number 44. Here's another example.
Is that one of the pictures you sent?
Yes,
44?
54, I'm sorry.
54?
So 54 is a double wide. And double wides hold the value better. There's no doubt about it.
That's a 2055, I'm sorry. I got
2013, yes.
55 you said, right?
54,
Oh, 54. That's a 2013.
correct.
Okay?
What's the value of that one?
Okay.
We have 48.6.
48.6.
48,600, correct. And our contested value is $22,000, and I'll show you how I get to that price. First of all, we sold that mobile home. We sold it 8 years ago for $49,000. So there's no doubt that mobile homes and mobile home park settings depreciate year after year. And in fact, the lion's share depreciates the first couple years. Very similar to an automobile. They're registered with motor vehicles. And just like an automobile, it's the first couple years of depreciation that's the largest share. But there's no question in the industry that the depreciation rate for these homes in their entirety is somewhere between 20 and 30 years old, 20 and 30 years. Very few have a lifespan beyond that. And quite a few have a shorter lifespan. Going back to example number 54, we sold it for $49,000 8 years ago.
Was that at cost?
That was not at cost, no.
That was somebody that wasn't going to put it in your park?
So we sold it in our park for somebody to put it in our park. So what it sold it at cost, we were able to negotiate a better price. But when you look at the price of $48,000, first of all, it's 8 years old. Second of all, we co-signed on that home in order to sell it. Because these people that apply for credit within these type of properties rarely qualify for retail installment loan. There's just a contract. There's nobody that'll lend the money. So the only way a bank will finance them is if we co-sign it. And most of our financing is done through Warren Buffett. It's called 21st Mortgage Program. And I believe I copied you on it, Terry. But the way the program works is that for the first 5 years, we have to dedicate a portion of the lot rent to pay down the principal balance on that particular home. And it goes it amounts to $10,000 to $11,000 discount on that home. That's the reason that 21st Mortgage, the mortgage holder on this, does that is they want to reduce their exposure as fast as possible on the front end. They want to have the mobile home park owner
That's what this is.
on the hook
And you know you can trust.
and a part of the process. So that home, in 2016, we sold it again. Originally, we sold it in 2013 for $49,000. We sold it in 2016 because the original gentleman couldn't make his payments. So I had to buy it back from the mortgage company and turn around and sold it again for $39,000. That was 5 years ago. I contend that home is worth $27,000 today if I didn't have to co-sign on it. If you gave me 27,000 cash, I'd sell it to you. But its true value is closer to $22,000. Because we had to co-sign on it, we have to get a premium on the price. Does everybody follow me?
They're nodding their heads yes.
Okay. And so,
Couldn't hear my
all the
head.
newer homes, and there's only 17 of them, I believe, that are less than 10 years old. That's a common scenario. Now, we've got, well, we went back and looked at what other assessors have done on the new homes, because it's the same situation every place we go. And in the counties of Ontario, Wyoming, Chemung, Chautauqua, Genesee, Wyoming, those are the ones I took the time to look up. The valuations that they're putting on mobile homes that are 5 years old or newer are anywhere from $22,000 to $31,000. Now that home, we buy that home new for $28,000 to $32,000. And obviously, just like your car, once you move it off the lot, it's depreciated.
I already told you, Jeff, that I talked to Tammy Snyder, who's the assessor for where you have like 5 parks, where you're located right now. And she said, yes, it's true that she doesn't put anything on over $30,000, but that's because it was not an update year. They're updating assessments next year, and at least what she told me is that $30,000 is going to go up.
We've owned the parks in this area here for 35 plus years. They've never been assessed for any more than that. So they've done revals every 4 years.
Yeah. Do you have anything further for us?
Well, I guess the main point is unless you've gone through the interiors of these mobile homes, it's hard to understand. First of all, they're not constructed like a single-family dwelling. All the materials
I've seen a number
are
of them
cheaper
involved
and lower end, so they don't hold up as well. And then on the other side of the spectrum, the tenants are much less desirable than a normal homeowner. They don't respect the property the way a normal homeowner would. So they don't take as good a care of it, and ultimately, they depreciate much faster. And once you get in these homes, you start to understand why the bill of sales over and over and over again reflect these prices. And that's why I so diligently document this stuff, is because people don't understand the condition of these things till you get in them. To come in and put a price per square footage, or to use a mobile home valuation book, there's one called Marshall and Swift, there's 3 of them out there. They have very little to do with an individual home in the park here when you've got a database that reflects over and over again what the actual value of that home is. Now, there was some conversation that maybe some of these documents were made up, or the tenant, when they sell them, they're not accurate, and it really doesn't fly. There's no reason for an individual to work the numbers on a bill of sale. First of all, there's no sales tax. So that's not an issue. When they sell it, they don't have to, like a motor vehicle, if you go in, you might fudge the number in order to pay less sales tax. That doesn't apply to mobile homes. On the other end of the spectrum, it behooves a homeowner or a buyer of a mobile home to inflate the value so that they can use it towards their STAR discount, their STAR tax discount. So, and again, this documentation is, we can back it up a dozen different ways.
And the mobile home park isn't in great condition. I took my wife through there, and she said, why would anyone live here? But if you can buy a house for $2,000, if you have to pay that and then only pay $500 a month, you get to live in Glens Falls for a 2 or 3 bedroom place. It may not be nice, but it's a place to hang your hat, and they can buy them cheap, and that's why these houses are so cheap. The value isn't in the house.
I mean, I don't see where a judge, if push came to shove, wouldn't accept the information that we put together on this, that we have.
When I was acting Supreme Court judge for 12 years, I had a lot of tax cert cases. And what we would be putting forth is the evidence that we have from the bill of sale, the pictures, the inside of the house, to go through this. And, you know, the towns, they have what they came up with, their square footage, which doesn't apply to each home on this.
But don't you think when you're submitting a bill of sale for $1 and it's a livable, someone's living in it, it's not been condemned, don't you think that is worth more than $1?
Well, I don't think they're coming to condemn them, and some people will live in houses that are, and a lot of people will go and say they're planning on fixing it up and putting in new floors where they've lost the floorboards and things like that.
And we acquiesced to those valuations on those older ones that we discussed, Terry.
We did, and I've told my board of review that we decided that for the 1960 mobile homes, they're $500, and for the 1970 mobile homes, they were $1,500. I did tell them that. They kind of looked at me like I was crazy because people are living in those, but I did agree to that. But you're saying we can rely on a $1 bill of sale. You can't even rely on a $1 bill of sale. I mean,
we're not valuing them at $1 though.
But I'm not saying you are, but you've submitted those saying that those are the bills of sale. So don't you think that's a little suspect? I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying you can't really believe that's a valid bill of sale for $1.
And that's why we didn't argue that point any further. People absolutely do sell those for $1. There's no question about that. They're just looking to offload the home to somebody else. But
that gets them out of the lot. Otherwise, they still owe the lot rent if they abandon it. And if they've got jobs, they can be sued, and we could get a judgment against them.
Just like they abandon the homes and leave them to us for $0, which is what they're worth, they sell them for $1 to get out from underneath them. It happens all the time.
Right. If you take over the house, I'll give it to you. It's essentially I give it to you if you take over. If you come in here and now you're paying the rent.
I actually saw there was just a couple of them though, of the bills of sale that were like $1 that they said, but you owe the back rent. Right. Or however long they didn't pay the rent.
We researched those two. One was a tenant that had been there for only 10 months, and so whatever rent that they had accrued
$5,000
in arrears had to be insignificant, or a maximum of $4,000. And the other one was how much? Was $2,400.
Yeah, and that's the real price. That is the real price. I agree. Yeah, right. They're taking over the back rent, and one was $4,000 we think, and the other is $2,400.
Yeah, in order for us to transfer the sales, the back rent has to be paid.
Yeah, but then you got to question whether we ever really collect that. As I said, we got $230,000 in receivables.
Okay, hold on 1 second. The chairman has a question.
See, we are not able to follow you through each and every building on that property. We will take the information you've given us plus the discussion. And when we meet next week, we'll go through it and we'll get back to you with our thoughts.
And I will give them your spreadsheet. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on, one more question.
I just want to be clear, from this board member's perspective, what would help me the most is that your information is complete. So for each lot, if we had the date that
we do have that.
The age of the mobile home, the original purchase price.
I don't have original purchase prices.
Well, then the model number, because we could look it up. If you could make that information as complete as possible, because I can do math on depreciation, that's not that hard, and we need to come to some kind of a fair number for each one of these, and it is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
The more information you give us, the better it will be. The better our decision.
I've got hundreds of hours into this already.
What?
Yeah, and if we have a proceeding, we would have to go through each and every one of these. Yeah, that's for sure.
Jeff, I didn't really look that closely because I was just concentrating on the numbers. The spreadsheet that you've sent, does that have all the information on it that the board would need? Does it have the size of the mobile home, the make, the original year bill, the original selling price, the most recent selling price, that kind of thing?
It has the most recent. I think the one that you had the most recent on it.
Right.
The one that we sent to you on that, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we've only owned the park since 1996, and a lot of the homes are older than that, so they were there before the actual home was sold for the first time.
Okay, but whatever you have is what they would like, apparently.
Okay, yep.
Gotta get to us quickly, though.
And then if you could email that, they're going to meet after the long weekend. They'll meet next week for determinations.
I guess my question is, do you want the 500 bills of sales that we have?
Do you want the 500 bills of sale that they have?
No,
No, they said.
I don't know
Okay.
how we establish.
All right, we'll get that over to you in a more digestible way.
Whatever you can write.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Any more
thank you so much.
questions?
That'd be all for me.
That's it for me.
That's all the questions, guys.
Thank you.
thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Terry?
You turn us off, people. Disconnect, please, for a minute. Where is that? I should know.
Off Bay Road, Berry Drive.
Yes, I know, just north of T Hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a property that is a colonial that was built in 2008, 2,657 square feet, central air, propane heat. The assessment last year was 331.4, and it went to 344.9. So it went up $13,500 or 4%,
That's the difference in assessed value.
assessed value.
It's entirely possible, though, the tax themselves may not go up.
Right, no, right, yes. And here is the appraisal. This is Larissa's grievance form. There's the appraisal and her form, and that's just the determination.
Okay, let's get started. Please tell us your name and the address where you live. to start.
It's Larissa Boychuk, and it's 12 Farmington Place.
Okay.
Yep.
I have to swear you in now,
That's okay, good.
just like in court. Do you solemnly swear that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
Yes.
Thank you. The witness has said yes. Okay. Looking very quickly, you're looking for a reduction of about $19,000, right?
I'm looking for that, but I would like to meet in the middle. I'm willing to
What are
do
you
that.
asking for?
What are you asking?
I would like to be, honestly, I would like to be in the low threes. Is it realistic? Probably not. But I looked at comps in our area, and I understand this is not based on 2020. This is based on 2018 and 19. So I have some comps in the area.
All her sales were 18 and 19, if you look at the appraisal, yes.
Right. Because we know this year's an inflated year, so this, so looking based on 18 and 19, actually, one of my neighbors, 16 Berry Patch, it's a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath. His assessed value is at 355.4, and square feet is 2822, and the front is all brick and masonry. My house is 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. I've only got 0.61 acres, and I've got 2,657 square feet. So his land is quite more than mine, and he's only assessed $10,000 more than I am.
On the land or total?
Total assessment. To me, that's a much more, just the brick on the house is $30,000 more. I have vinyl siding and a little bit of brick. The land value, in all fairness, if he's at $125.87 and I'm at $129, I should be below the 125, given that he's all masonry, larger, and he's got an extra bathroom. And I'm higher than he is. So I don't, if we're just comparing, apples to apples, in all fairness, if I just took his number, even though his is higher, my house should be at $334,000. But it should be a little bit lower, given the fact that I'm vinyl siding, he has one extra bathroom, and he has much more land than I do. So I'm just wondering if we're just using numbers and trying to be
Have you been
fair.
inside the other house?
Yes, it was all upgrades, because that was at one point the model. So, yeah.
Okay. Assume you're looking for roughly between $10,000 and $20,000 reduction.
Correct.
So more in that range.
Yep.
And if the total taxes, is that Lake George School District?
No.
No.
Still
No.
Queensbury. Okay.
Queensbury.
If it were Queensbury, you're looking about $220 a year actual tax difference right now. Okay, just to put things in perspective.
I just wanted,
And
yeah,
it may be less because
right.
we've just looked and we've had there are a lot of additions to the total tax base for last year, much higher than usual.
Correct.
And that possibly could lower the taxes. The school and town taxes,
Sure.
expenditures are the same. If the amount we raise by taxes is the same, taxes could go down.
Which is fine,
Gotta
but
keep that in mind.
I will. I'll keep that in mind. I'm just trying to be fair with the assessment, because at some point there has to be a standardized number where we determine if it's a center home colonial, which we both are, why is he $5 more a square foot than I am? And his house is bigger, it's more desirable, masonry front, a whole backyard that's a hardscape living area with a built-in kitchen. I just have
Oh, I
a
don't
little
have
porch
that.
that came with the house. We haven't done anything.
Have you owned the house since
Yes.
2008?
Yes. We have, yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't have what she just said about the 16 berry patch. I don't have that they have a outdoor kitchen or anything like that. They are assessed more than she is. They're at 355.2 and she's at 344.
Okay.
But per square foot, they're less, with a bigger house.
Per square foot price value drops.
The larger it is.
The scale, the per square foot price drops, but they're more total assessed now.
But it's not that, yeah, we're talking less than 150 square feet. It drops that much, $5 a square foot?
Could
That's
be.
a lot. I think that's a lot. Here's another sale that was in 2019 that's comparable. 7 Clearview Lane, 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 12 square feet. They're at $126 a square foot, so they're still less than me. And it's a bigger house, extra bedroom, extra bath and a half, on 1.3 acres, which is double the acreage of mine. And they're assessed at, their new assessment is 333, and I'm gonna be at 331 for a smaller house. Smaller house, smaller property. So that's another one.
About same age,
About same age, yeah. Yep,
same quality, construction, same builder, do you know?
yes. Yeah, Clearview, I believe, is right near me. So I think that was all T&B and Ferone Builders.
That's,
So that was last year,
Yes.
so that's a comparison. And of course, this year, we're at the top of the market. And we had a sale right on our street in July of 2020. Probably the worst time to buy a house, or the worst time to build. It sold for $340,000. That's where the home should be. And at the peak of the market, to have a house across the way from me sell for $340,000, I think that's indicative of where we belong.
What house was that?
It was 3 Farmington.
3 Farmington?
Yep. And before that, it sold at $235,000 in 2015. But they did put a lot of upgrades into it before it sold last year. They put in fire pit, all this outdoor living space, I guess, is worth money. And that's where people spend time. But, I mean,
Only
that's,
2,100 square feet, and that was built in 2006, but it's smaller than hers.
Well,
bigger property though.
anyone have any questions?
No, it's only .70 of an acre.
Oh, it's .7? Yep, and I'm .6, okay.
What we'll do, we're gonna be looking, we'll be meeting in private session
Okay,
sometime next week.
okay,
Be looking at all these as come in.
okay.
I believe I did offer her a stipulation,
What was
correct?
it?
Didn't I? No?
No.
Okay, maybe I didn't.
No,
Okay.
We'll look at these and we'll come up with a decision.
okay,
That'll be mailed to you within a few weeks.
okay,
And if you still don't like it, there's always another court.
okay.
Hopefully,
Let's hope it doesn't have to get to that.
at some point, the cost
Right,
of doing all that outweighs any
I-
possible savings.
I know, I'm in business. Sometimes, yeah, you're further ahead just to let something go than to go to the next step.
We'll try to make everybody happy and be fair.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time, everyone. Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Terry.
coming in.
Absolutely. Enjoy, am I the last one?
No, we got 8 o'clock tonight.
Then
We wish.
you're welcome to come back this evening. We'll be here from 6 to 8. You can sit in the audience.
Hi. Well, it's the last day. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The next one's at 3:30.
3:30, oh.
Oh, so I'll turn this
Check
off.
my
Get a
email.
break.
Sir,
How you doing today?
just fine, thank you. We are live now?
I'm just going to pull that over. Or you-
Oh, live, thank you.
He has the grievance form with him.
Now we're
Um,
live.
18 Howard Street, and that's the mobile home.
What's the assessed value?
Right here, this is the, but
You
then it
please
has.
tell us
enclosed
your
porch
name
stuff like
and
that.
your address. I
Joseph,
have to swear you in.
hello? Can you hear me? Joseph Austin, my address, my living address is 88 Pinewood Road, Queensbury.
38 Pinewood Road,
88 Pinewood Road?
88 Pinewood Road. And your name was Bill?
Joe Austin.
What year
Austin?
is it?
Yes, Austin.
13?
You a contractor?
Yes, I am.
I've seen Austin
Yeah,
before.
Yeah, well,
pretty obvious.
oh, yeah, right.
Well, oh yes, okay.
He's there too.
Didn't see that. Got to swear you in. Do you solemnly swear that the information you are about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability?
I do.
Good, thank you. Please tell us your situation.
My situation is I have the property over on 18 Howard Street, and the mobile home that is there is basically is like I don't know. It's the structure itself has virtually no value whatsoever.
How old a mobile home is it?
84.
85 I have.
85? Okay. It was purchased in 84. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it was purchased, it is in 85, it was purchased in 84, that's right.
okay.
And, I mean, we did clean it up to make it look more presentable, and basically, it's got a coat of paint on it. We put some shutters on it, and it's just not, it's a structure, if someone was to value the structure itself, it wouldn't be worth more than $1,500. Now, I understand the property is where the value is for that there.
Is anybody living in it?
There is somebody living in it right now.
So
Yeah.
you're renting it now.
I'm renting it out right now.
What do they pay you a month?
They're paying me, let's see, what are they paying me now? It's like $1,000 a month.
$1,000 a month they're paying. Does that include the utilities?
No, it doesn't include utilities,
$1,000 a month?
1,000 plus utilities.
plus utilities, yeah.
Okay,
How
It's
large
because of the
is
privacy.
trailer? How large is the trailer?
14 by 70. It's a J Skyline is what it is. And as you know, mobile homes, they don't hold their value.
do you have it for sale now?
I don't have it for sale now. I think eventually what I'd like to do is pull that out of there someday, because it's just floors, you know what I mean, have been repaired, but it's just not long for this world. That structure is not really long for this world. So eventually what I'd like to do, when I get in a better financial position, is to put, either build a home there or bring in a modular someday.
It's a buildable lot,
I don't know. That I
Yes.
don't even know.
Yeah, and that, yeah.
.38 acres?
It's 100 by 169.
We don't do an appraisal on mobile homes. What I used was cost. So the land is $20,000. And then it's the mobile, and we have it in fair economy grade, fair condition. We didn't update it or anything. He went up about $5,200. 4,000 of that was in land,
So we just went up $1,200?
in the mobile home, or the structure that's there.
The structure went up by $1,200.
I forgot what I was going to say. So I just used the cost, and you have the cost in front of you.
What's his total assessment rate?
41.3.
So he's being charged 21.3 for the building.
21.3 for the mobile home, which it has like an enclosed porch and has a little add-on 8 by 14 add-on structure room, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, it's an unfinished porch, it's not a.
Right.
no, it's-
We've just spent a half an hour on other ones. So we're
experts.
with all these.
Yeah, exactly.
I have all of the stuff that's there as economy grade and fair condition.
Anybody have any questions?
Did he put down, he just needs to put down what he thinks it should be valued at.
Yeah, I don't have that form.
I mean, being realistic, I mean, I felt that the amount that was there before was high for what it is, considering the neighborhood. It's not exactly an elite neighborhood by any means of the imagination. It's a more lower grade neighborhood. Because there's other trailers on it and et cetera. And for lack of better terms, I hate to say this, but a lot of white trash on that street. So, I mean, for me to try to make it a prettier looking structure, I just feel like I've been kind of penalized a lot for what little bit, that I did to it.
We didn't even know you did anything because we don't have a new picture for it. It's just that we ran new cost.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're saying that you're assessing, let me ask you this, if you're saying you're assessing the property at 20,000, then you're saying you're assessing the structure for 26,000?
21.3.
21.3.
That's an awful lot for a $1,500 trailer.
And it looks to me like what you want is us to go to 21.5 total.
I was
20,000
at,
for the land
no,
and 1,500 for the building.
believe it or not, I was asking for something, I was trying to be reasonable. If we had left it where it was, I would have lived with that, even though I thought it was high.
What was it?
36.1.
You would like that now?
I think that's really a little bit more
On
than,
the bottom line on that form on the right-hand side,
yep, right here, that's what I got. I got 36 is what I have, actually, 36.
you want to change it?
What's that?
Do you want to change it, do you want to leave it?
At
Because
36?
they can't go any lower than
We
that.
can't go lower than the number you put in.
You have to put down,
I had mine lowered in Fort Ann. They raised my assessment from 70,000 up to 168,000 in Fort Ann.
You must have liked what you did.
Well, no, yeah, well, I didn't do anything to that property. That's the whole thing. So I had it, and I purchased it for 125,000. So that's what I asked for an assessment, and they changed it. They changed it. So,
Okay, so you're asking for a 36 even, just for my paperwork,
no,
or is it
he
36
lowered
more?
it.
well, I mean, she said I can't lower it.
No, yes, like, you can. They can't make it any lower than what you put on the form.
Oh, I understand. I thought, I misunderstood.
No.
If you put 0, we could go all the way down to 0.
Yeah,
Probably we're not going to do that.
probably not. I mean, let me ask you this, being, in all fairness, because I wasn't even thinking about, because I didn't know how much of that was proportioned that you were
Right.
looking at for property and how much you were looking at for structure. So obviously what we have here is a structure that's overvalued, an assessment. And anybody's more than welcome to look at the property and go inside, because it's, you know what I mean, it's just
Now, do you have any comps from other mobile homes in that have sold or anything
yeah,
recently?
I mean, recently, on some of the trailer parks, I see some of them, they're giving them away just so they can get, so the values are virtually nothing. For mobile homes of that age, are virtually nothing.
You have,
I'm sorry.
do you have any sales in that mobile home? Is it yours in a park? Or
No.
No.
It's on the property, that's,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's on the property, but, people are giving away trailers just to get rid of them. Of even, ones that are even north than that. You've got, over on Luzerne Road, you have Homestead, and then you've got over on Van Duzen Road, the same thing. They're giving away trailers just to get rid of them.
Yeah.
People just don't want mobile homes. So, So the structure has no value. I mean, I should say almost no value. I mean, being realistically, I put a value of 1,500 on it, and that was being generous.
Except for the fact that you are getting $1,000 a month rent.
Right, and you know, it's because they're nurses and they needed a place in this location, in this area.
Any further questions?
Well, what was your final offer on what you wanted to pay?
What did you write on that line?
I wrote originally 36,000.
No, but you, yeah.
What did you finish after you scratched that off?
Well, because I was under the impression that I couldn't go under what was
You
it.
can go lower.
Go anywhere you want to.
We can't go lower than what you put down.
If you think it's worth 1,500, you can go
It doesn't mean we're gonna go that way.
21.
Right. All right, well, let me,
21.5, if you think the house is worth, then
Well-
we will sit and talk about it.
right, if the property is worth, how much you said?
20.
20.
20,000,
That's probably fair.
okay. And then the structure is worth, and by all means, I'm sure you're going to look it up, look at the value, Blue Book value for that structure, a 1985 Skyline J, 14 by 70, see what it's worth. But I thought it was 1,500. I think, considering now that I know how much she was putting on the property for value, I think that 25,000 actually would be fair. That's putting a 5,000 value on the trailer, which is well above, way more than the trailer is worth.
Right.
You can write that down on the line and then we'll work with it.
Okay.
We're not negotiating with you right now. We're just trying to figure
And
out,
we're not, we
Yeah.
did
help
not
you
give
fill out the
that.
form, and then we'll make the decision
Oh,
next
yeah,
week.
Absolutely, and I'm just giving you my
Yep.
thoughts on why I come up with that.
And what was the size again? I'm sorry.
14
14
by
by
7.
14 by 70,
14 by 7.
yeah.
Any more questions?
Thank you for your honesty and for your
Thank you for coming
information.
in.
And probably the structure itself, if anything, for value, has sentimental value in the fact that me, my mother, grandmother, and all my brothers and sisters used to live in that trailer, 7 of us at one time.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry, then the value's
Wow.
worth a lot more.
You have to raise
Oh,
that.
my God. 7 of you, good for you.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
Including Rose, that's over at the clerk's office. She was one of the 7.
that's cool.
My mother and her 7 brothers all lived.
Wow,
Well, she has sisters.
that happened.
All right, very
Oh,
good.
you'll get something from them in a couple weeks.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you
Oh,
all.
is
Oh, you
this
need
our
to leave
form?
that
We
form.
need
That's,
that.
yeah, you gotta leave that with us.
I didn't quite finish 100%
I'd
because
rather get dressed like that, very honestly.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. Thank you all very much for your time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Up this way or?
That way. Yep, there you go. Mr. Bellinger? You're set.
Right.
Okay.
You got that. You got the folder? I have
Okay, please state your name and your mailing address, and then I have to swear you in.
All right. My name is Mark Bellinger, and my mailing address is 46 Bell Mountain Road in Queensbury.
Know where it is.
Is that the property
That's the physical address of the property.
that you're reading today?
Yes.
What is it, 46 what?
46 Bell Mountain Road?
Nice place to live.
Yes.
And do you have your grievance form, sir?
Yes.
The form itself?
Let me turn off the air conditioner.
I know, it kind of got warm in here, didn't it? Yep. Just,
This right here?
yep. And you put down there which one.
Let me swear you in now.
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please tell us why you're here.
So I received a letter in the mail showing that our taxes were, the assessment of our property went up, and that our taxes could potentially go up as well. I don't believe that that's necessary. When we purchased the home, based off the information we had at that time, the assessed value went up $53,000,
How long have you had the property?
2 years. almost to the date. So we purchased the house in April of 2019.
Okay.
And now it looks like, according to the paperwork that I have, you're looking to go up an additional $12,400 on top of that.
Why did you pay for the house?
Okay, so there's a little confusion there. The paperwork that you may have shows $291,000 that we paid for the house. We didn't pay $291. We financed $291. We rolled in our closing costs. The actual purchase price of the home was $281,000. So.
Well, we would have just gotten it off the 52, off the sale if they didn't. Okay. There's no personal property listed on the sale, so we have 291. I'm not saying that you didn't pay 281. I'm just saying we didn't have that
Now,
information.
what's the current assessment?
290,800.
And what would you like to see there?
I think no more than 281 is reasonable. I understand, values go up, fluctuate over time. Nothing ever really goes backwards, everything kind of goes forward. So I realize that values go up over time, inflation and so on.
And if you were to sell it right now, it would probably go way up because of what's happened to the market in the last year.
Sure, right. But are we going to use COVID as an excuse to gouge prices across the board?
Good investment.
Right. So I just, unfortunately, I've tried to do a little research in getting something closely comparable to this home in property size. That's been actually very difficult to do.
How big is the property?
So the property, based off the paperwork that we have, shows it at 5.35 acres, I believe is the official size.
Going up the road from
Gurney Lane.
From Gurney Lane?
Yes.
Is it on the left or on the right?
It's on the right. Yeah, there's only 5 houses on this road. It's a
Behind the
dead-end road.
doctor's house, doctor's on the corner, right?
The Bucks are on the corner. Then they actually used to own our property. They sold it years ago to Dave Hodgson, who was the previous owner of the house. So then across the street from us, kitty corner going this way as you're coming up the road, are the Reams. And I've actually got their assessed value, their residential values here. And, of course, everybody on that road has double, I should say double, like quadruple the acreage that we have. We have approximately about 5.35 acres. Everybody else has 25 acres or better. And the houses are all considerably larger. Ours is the smallest house on the road at 1470.
1470 square feet.
Right. Now, I don't know if this is in your paperwork or not, but this actually has a partial basement, not a full basement. Because of the root system of the trees on the property, there's actually a huge oak tree in the back that's very close to the house. So because of the root system, they had to cut back the foundation.
Dave is a botanist.
Yes.
Yep.
So,
30 years.
and also the height of the basement isn't standard height by today's standards. You should be 8 feet of height clearance. It's not. It's about 7 feet 4 inches of height clearance. So it's really not even eligible for finishing, by codes and whatnot. So, I think, the original assessment, when we looked at the county assessment, and again, I know everybody tells us they don't go by that, but it was $225,000 was the listing on there, just over $225,000. Then when we bought the house, it got a reassessment up to $278,400, according to this paperwork here. And now you're raising up from $278,400 to $290,800, which is a $12,400 increase.
Is this the house that was built in the 1930s or?
1983.
83?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not single and triple, okay.
And we,
And we've done nothing to the house
right.
since we've been there.
When he purchased, before he purchased, because I have staff that looks at listings all the time to find out what's been done in the house that we don't know about. We did find that it was totally updated interior, a nice brick hearth, wood stove, granite countertop, and that's one of the reasons he went up last year, because of the inventory that we didn't have.
But by that account, keep in mind too, this house has no furnace.
Electric heat.
It's got an electric,
Right, that's what I got.
baseboard, which anybody that's in their right mind is not going to use an electric baseboard to heat.
No.
to heat. That's just an insane cost right there. But there's no furnace and there's no ductwork in this house.
Is there natural gas going up the
No.
road? No, okay.
No, we don't even have cable service coming up our road. So, right.
Really?
Yeah, right.
They should.
Yeah, Spectrum will not provide service up to our road.
Well,
And ironically, when we purchased the home, Dave had, I believe, Dish Network sitting on the property. The dish is still sitting there on the tree in the backyard. But when I called them, they refused to provide service to us, saying that that their current technology doesn't allow them to provide service on our property. And I'm like, you've got a dish sitting right there behind our house. You say, you tell me your old technology is better than your new technology? That makes no sense. And DirecTV told us the same thing.
Maybe where they gotta shoot to the satellite.
Right, yeah, there's just, you know, and I understand, you know, there's new companies going.
To the mountain too.
Right, I mean, we're right in a rough spot right there. It's a beautiful property, but, you know, so. And like I said, you know, I mean, you can look at pictures and stuff and see like it's a hot tub and whatnot that hasn't rained in 3 years. So I highly doubt it's functioning at this time.
Does Spectrum give you cable service at all,
No,
even for your internet?
no. We had to go through HughesNet for our satellite internet service, which is horrible, absolutely horrible. Yeah, yeah, and we have 2 kids, so it's
Well, that's not
really
good.
rough.
So you're looking for a reduction?
I'm looking for a reduction. Like I said, I understand the values go up over time, and, you know, like I said, we're not living in the 1930s anymore. You know, things cost a lot more than they did back then. But to raise it $53,000 when we bought the house, and then now another $12,400, you know, a couple of years later, I think that's excessive. Especially when we haven't done anything to the house. And you talk about granite countertop. The granite countertop is actually uneven when it was installed. It wasn't done well. So that all has to get redone. The appliances have already started to go. We've already had to replace our refrigerator. And now our stove is starting to go, so we're gonna have to replace that as well. Yeah, there's no central air, there's no, you know, there's none of that stuff. So we do have a well system, which, you know, hopefully, you know, which, you know, knock on wood, is still working okay.
Really good water.
Yeah. But, you know, we're talking, you know, what, 20, 30 years, 30 plus years there, so, and it, you know, even though things were upgraded at a certain time, that they're starting to show their age a little bit, and, you know, things are starting to break down. So, like I said, you know, we haven't done anything to the house. You could look at it from the road right now, and it looks exactly the way it did when we purchased it.
Well, the assessor told us before that there's been a very large increase in the total assessed valuation of the town this past year.
Okay, but now is that due to
All
COVID, though?
that's figured in, that should lower the taxes, or at least stabilize them.
Okay, so if it's lowering the taxes, that means our taxes shouldn't go up. They should either at least level off.
Depends, in your case, it may be just the same.
He was only 4%, so
You're
he only went up
4%?
4%.
And it was a 5% overall, wasn't
It's
it?
10.
Went up 4.
10% overall? I didn't think that's
So
the
you may,
figure I
well,
read.
not too bad.
Okay. No, you should go down
Big
except
change.
that the budgets go up, so.
Well, you know, they're capped, so hopefully they won't go
Yeah,
up too
so
much.
you might actually have a reduction at this level.
I mean, that's great. I won't turn that away,
In
but.
theory, yeah.
In theory.
Theory. Okay, everything's always in theory.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but just, you know, looking at some of the surrounding property, I mean, just to give you, you know,
What's Lou Buck's property assessed at?
so that would be on the corner of Gurney Lane. I don't have that one.
Right behind the pond, part of the pond.
Is it
Is that
Buck, did you say?
207?
Yeah, BUCK.
251 Gurney Lane?
It could be.
His
Big
name is Louis Buck.
Yep.
Assessment 669.8.
But keep in mind, they have over 30
Oh, yeah.
acres of land.
It's huge.
And their house is about 3 times the size of ours.
It was built in 1840, though. But yes, it's
Right,
got
but- yeah,
5,000,
But not the new addition.
no, right,
They've added
5,000
additions on
square
their house.
feet.
Yeah,
5,000?
yeah.
It's
That-
5,000 square
If you look
foot
at Mark Abadili's property, he's the vice president of Hughes Insurance over here on Bay Street. He owns the property, you know, like, here's our house, kitty corner this way, up at the top of the mountain,
Oh, really? I didn't-
overlooking the mountain range. So that I realize the mountain range adds a lot of value. You know, people pay big money for that.
No,
His house is
you
over.
can't for a view.
How many square feet is it?
He's just judging by the looking at the house, it's got to be over 3,000 square feet. He's
What is
got an in-ground pool, trout pond,
I can't find
3-car garage,
Wow.
big turnaround driveway. I mean, the thing is massive. I mean, it's just insane.
How long is his driveway?
Long. It goes up and around the mountain.
Must
The people at the end of the road, I forget what their last name is now. I'm horrible with names. They own their initial property is 30 acres, but they just bought another 40 beyond that. So, and their house is
big
probably twice the
plowing.
size of ours. the gentleman, that goes up the access road at the end of our road, and goes up towards the left, I believe he owns over 170 acres up the top of that mountain.
Abodili's at 787,900.
You know, we're considerably, I mean, and I understand the surrounding properties are gonna raise values and whatnot, but
It's the thing with that.
we're like a low-income residents compared to everybody around us.
Sutton's?
People.
They're not still
The
there.
Reams,
No,
across the way, they've done additions over the years and stuff, they
I
own it
thought
for
that
30
was on
years.
Bell Mountain Road.
Let me look.
But, you know, so I'm just, you know,
Keep
trying to
track
compare
of
apples to apples
bear.
here.
There's a bear walking around up there right now.
Oh, I have a picture of him from last year, sitting right on our
Same
porch.
one, that was 49 Bell Mountain Road.
Who owns that now?
Abodili.
That's Mark Evans.
Abodili bought it, yeah.
787,
I had an offer on
900, yeah.
that of $1 million, that one for over $1 million,
That sold for 990
yeah.
back in '07.
Any further questions? Any more information to give us? I think you've given us a bunch.
Yeah. I mean, I said, you know, I'm not looking to be unreasonable, I just think,
Yeah.
you know, based off the condition of the house, the age of the house.
Our job
I
is to be
understand, you
sure
know,
that
houses
everybody's
last a long
treated
time.
equally and fairly. And we'll meet again next week, and maybe
Okay.
have to meet 2 or 3 nights to go through this pile.
Okay,
And then you'll get a note from the assessor and see what we decided.
okay,
Well, thank you very much for your
all right. Thank you for your time.
approach.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
You too.
Was this our last appointment?
It was.
We come back again at 6,
We have to wait till 4.
Yeah, we have to wait.
in case anybody walks in. Okay, that's all right.
Not to fix that, right? You just lock the front doors. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What did he want?
He wanted 281.
Yes, 2
You might as well cut it off till somebody comes in, please.
If somebody comes in.